We are live. Let's make sure we live on everywhere. Make sure people tap in with us. If y'all got your phones or if you got another device, go to Facebook and see if I'm live, and then share it to your page.
Yeah, we live.
Okay, we live. Cool. I don't see it yet.
Yeah, I just seen it.
Somebody see it.
It's probably my ass.
On Facebook. Do I just look for you?
Yeah. Yep. We live. We live right now. What's going on, y'all? Thank y'all for tapping in with us. Make sure you get on here, tag somebody, tell somebody to watch our show. We got a dope show for y'all tonight. Come on, chime in with us. We got some good stuff we're gonna talk about tonight, and should be helpful and relatable to a lot of people. And if it's not, it's still gonna be a good show. You need to watch it, so it don't really matter. So we just gonna invite a few people in, and we're gonna get started. Thank you for all of our faithful followers. Make sure you like and share. It's Mental Podcast on all social media platforms. That's It's Mental Podcast. And check us out, man. We got a dope show getting ready for y'all. I got my boy Chris, as always. He's in there, but we got a special guest. I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself because he's cool with his Superman chain on.
Salt and pepper Jack.
That's right. It's my in my $80 shirt.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. I just want to make sure I just want to let folks bro, I dressed up for you.
Oh,
tonight.
okay. Well,
And I just left the gym too, so I can make sure my chest was a little out before I got out.
Hey man, we are not trying to see areolas.
Oh, I'm trying to get swole. Trying to get swole too. You know what I mean? Oh, what's up? This is Terry, the barbecue daddy Matthews. I legally changed my middle name, so that's what it is. And that's a lie. But I guess that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. We got the barbecue daddy. Y'all don't know. Terry is the owner of Q Fire Catering. And before that, he was just known as the barbecue daddy. His daughter named him the barbecue daddy.
Nipples out.
So yeah, man, we're trying to get our folks to log on, tap in with us. I'm trying to wait for a few more people to hop on. I only see one person really looking at us right now. We're going to make sure people share this. Tag somebody, man. Tag somebody in the comments. If you are the one person that's on with us right now, tag one person in the comments, and maybe they'll get on and tag somebody else. So, Chris, share it. Terry, share it. Make sure you go on and
did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did. I shared it.
Y'all go on and share it. And
I'm gonna put some.
I want to share.
I don't know.
I want to share it with the wrong person though.
Should I send one to you too?
I'm trying to share it with everybody that I can. Make sure that people are on here and they're viewing it. You know what? I should probably start sharing this stuff in groups.
Yep. I didn't think about that.
I forgot about that too. Sharing it in groups.
Oh.
Hopefully they don't kick me out.
Yeah, no. I'm going ahead and sharing it myself everywhere.
Yeah, share it everywhere. All right, some people that's logged on. What's up? Thank y'all for joining us, man. Y'all that's watching. Man, say what's up to us in the comments. Oh yeah, here y'all go. I see y'all. I see y'all coming on. I see y'all right now. Come on in, check in with us with the comments. Give us a hello, a hi, a peace, something, or tag somebody. That's really what I want y'all to do is tag somebody. Remember, like, share, and tag somebody in our video. So we're just gonna get and dive into it right now. As more people start to come on, you know how we go. You know, as we start talking, people start liking it, and we start growing throughout the night. So, yeah. So I got my boy Chris, I got my boy Terry, and Terry been trying to get on the show for a minute, and tonight was just a perfect time for him to get on. And I think it's great because all of us are dads, right? All of us are dads. And wait, let's talk about credit. Why they don't teach? We ain't gonna talk about credit in schools right now. Maybe, I don't know. It might come up. But we're gonna talk. We all of us are dads.
Come in trying to take over. We ain't even started yet. Shamar,
Right.
Hold up, bro.
That's my.
He ain't even heard the topic.
That's my cousin, man. He ain't all there
Negro,
sometimes.
boy,
Yeah, he always say something crazy every week. But yeah, so
Oh,
all of us
good.
are
Let's go.
dads, but not only are we just dads, we're black fathers, but we all have an untraditional child, right? Meaning a child that we take care of and provide for that we did not birth, right? It didn't come from our nuts, right? We all have a child that we care for as our own, right?
Yep,
We
yep.
call them, and I think they're all boys. Yeah, everybody that has a child
Yeah.
that
Yep.
they're boys, and we all call them son, and they call us dad. So I think it's dope to be able to do that and to have and to also break the stereotype of black men aren't fathers. Not only are we fathers, but we're even fathers to children that we did not birth. So I think that's an amazing thing. So my first question to you guys is, how is fatherhood? Give me just a brief reflection of fatherhood, Terry. Talk to me.
I tell you what, it's challenging because I have a little girl. Well, all my kids are older now, but I have four kids. I have 23-year-old, 23-year-old boys. My oldest son, which is the one that I didn't come from my nuts, and then a 21-year-old son who's a project. He's a good kid, kind of a little spacey. Sometimes I have a daughter who is just turned 20, and then I have a special needs son who just turned 13. Right?
Hey, he that old? Luke is 13?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dang.
Luke's gonna be in high school next year.
Dang.
So crazy. Yeah. So I got a good gamut of kids, and so how is it, man? I tell you what, it is trying to think logically and trying to do the right thing at all times. And I remember it is, I won't say challenging because this is normally what I do. I just try to think of every scenario and every outcome from each kid and try to help them along with it. Now looking back, did it help? Did it did it spoil? Did it work? You never know. You never really know.
Yeah.
And so especially having a daughter, you know, just like Chris Rock said, my goal is to keep her off the pole. And so there's all different types of ways of parenting, and when you want to try to get it right, it's just I won't say it's tough, but it definitely keeps you on your toes. Also, knowing that my kids are now older now, understanding that I'm still just as much of a dad today as I was when they were 10, and
Yeah.
they still need just as much of me in their life as they did when they were going to football and track practice.
Mm-hmm. Dope.
So
Dope. What
there's my
about you,
story.
Chris?
And I can honestly say it's hell. No.
uh,
Having kids, you know what I'm saying, and having a son that's not traditionally mine. Um, but the thing is, when you've been in that kid's life, you know what I'm saying, most of their life,
mm-hmm.
and you're all they see. I believe I treat him just like he one of my own, no matter what. The relationship that we have has grown so much. It's like, I love to joke around.
Right.
He joke around right back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
he send me video. I'm chilling. He send me videos at school of him lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? Making his titties jump. I'm like, bro, come on, bro. Like, and, it's just that's just the kid he is.
Yeah.
And I love it. I
Mm.
love it having him in my life. And then on top of that, like, we've gotten closer. When he was a kid, we weren't close like this.
Mm. Okay.
He was PJ was a little weird. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, he was a little weird. I
Yeah.
took him outside one time when he was little to throw the football. Man, why did that football crack every single knuckle in his hand when he tried to catch it? He said, You know what, man, I'm done with this." And he went he went inside and cried to his mama.
Yeah.
But
Here's soft, man.
who he is today, man, he's a man. He's a good looking kid, you know what I'm saying? He know how to dress, he's goofy, he got good grades, he's a good he's good all the way around. And I wouldn't take it back for the world.
That's what's
And,
up.
and and on top of that, Terry, my kids are I got a 13-year-old that's going to high school too next year. So I got one that's graduating
Nice.
in a month, and I got one going to college, and then one going into high school, and then PJ is my son. He'll be done with high school after next year. He's going to be a senior.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So for me, right, like I had my first daughter when I was 20. And I
And
have
she
my
old.
yeah, she just turned 20, man. She just turned 20.
Ooh, look at
Uh
you, pawpaw status.
and I have my nephew son. I call him my nephew son, but he's I mean, that's my son. I mean, by law, he's not my nephew. He's my wife's brother's son. But we've raised him since he was 3 years. He's lived with us since he was 3 years old. He's 8 now. And I love him like he's my own. You know what I mean? Our hair look alike. I think we spend so much time together. I coach him in football. We spend so much time together that people think we starting to look alike. You know what I mean? And then people, some of y'all that may not know, me and my wife do foster. We have a foster license, so we do foster kids, and one of them who's been with us for almost 2 years now. We're in the process of adopting. He just turned 14 this weekend, and so that's it's a little bit of a challenge there. When you kind of grown up in a system, a lot of trauma and things like that. There's some challenges there. But he's a daddy's boy. He dad. He always want to be do what I'm doing or be what I'm being and go where I'm going. So it feels good to have children that'll look up to you and that you can you know, really give your knowledge to. But like Chris said, sometimes it is hell. It is hell at certain times. So let me ask y'all, how did becoming a father change how you see yourself, not just as a parent, but as a man?
See, I didn't see as men, we don't become this until we go through some things. So even though we're fathers, we're still not responsible and stuff. Life still goes on. Like,
Yeah.
man, my daughter, my first daughter came along, I think I turned 27. I was still in the streets, bro. I'm still learning how to be a man.
Hmm.
So I would say with the help of her mom and family and stuff like that, they helped me out because I was still navigating on trying to become a man.
Mm.
And even in our 40s, we still growing. It's still
Yeah.
stuff we don't know. So at this age, man, it's just the village that helped me get to where I am.
Yeah. I think for me, I was so since I had my daughter at 20, I'm fresh. What sophomore year in
Oh,
college. So I was still a kid myself, having a kid. And like you, Chris, I was still running the streets, still at the club, trying to see how many different ones I could get every weekend and stuff like that. But when I came home, because my daughter was in California and I was in Arizona
I
when I
mean,
came
as I
home.
remember it, I think we was together.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah. I know
Most
your mama played a big part in most of this stuff too.
Absolutely. My mom, took on a big role at that age in my daughter's life. Um, and so yeah, I had to grow up kind of fast in that moment, but I still wasn't grown, right? It let me know there were certain responsibilities I had to take care of for my daughter. Like especially when I came home. When I came home, I wasn't running the streets. I didn't have a bunch of women around my daughter like that because I didn't want her to see that. I had stopped smoking weed, right? I never, when I went out and drank with my friends, I never drank in front of my daughter. I never came home drunk in front of my daughter or nothing like that. Um, so it made me be a little bit more responsible and conscious of what I show her from a man. And I think growing up, my daughter growing up, I actually told her I was very open with my daughter, even at a young age. I talked to her about men. I talked to her about sex. I talked to her about if someone touches her inappropriately. I talked to her about things that boys will try to get you to do. And for her, even she's like 9 and 10, and I'm telling her this stuff. She's like, "Oh my God, Dad, I don't want to hear this. You need to hear this because I'm gonna
Right.
tell you because you need to hear it from me before you hear it from a boy, so you know how to handle it." And even to this day, she's savage. When I hear her talking to boys, she like, no, you got to come correct basically with her because she has, her dad's mind when it comes to things like that. Terry, how old were you when you became a dad?
Well, you know what, man? I jumped into it fairly early, and my wife, she had Solomon when we met, so I kind of became a dad once I started kind of dating and moving in with her, and so I was 19. Um,
19.
and I was
Mm,
19
that's
when
early.
we dating, and I think I was 20 when we moved in together, and then we got married right afterwards. And so, yeah, I kind of took on the role of it, just kind of as accepting it with Tiffany. And you know what's crazy is that I actually had a young lady pregnant before, and
Mm.
her due date would have been like within a week or two of Solomon's birthday, but she ended up
Mm.
getting an abortion. And
Mm.
so I always looked at it, I said, well, you know what? God was had a kid for me one way or the other, because
Mhm.
literally, right, they would have been the exact same age within 2 weeks, depending on however
Wow.
that worked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I took it on. I loved him just like my own, because I love Tiffany. And I also
Mm.
was just kind of had a thing with kids and working with kids. So he was a cute little crying ass baby. But but it was, in the beginning, I was able to, even though I took on that kind of dad role, I was still,
Mm.
when he cried too much, I would still leave until we ended up moving in together. And then
Wait, wait,
after we moved
did
in
you say you
together,
would leave?
yeah, bro, because I used to call Solomon COD, cry on demand, because that little dude, he would just go. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, here, I'm finna go. Dude, because it's past his bedtime, nigga. It's like 6:30. His
Yeah.
bedtime was over. So, but kind of bringing him on, and then when Elijah came around, I was 21 or 22 or something like that, and so
Mm.
I had a little bit of experience, somewhat, in raising already Solomon and coming up with it. So he was, I always did my best to try to make sure I was equal. And even when I was
Mhm.
younger, I used to think, well, you can kind of mold a
Yeah.
kid to be a certain way, and you can raise your kids all to be. But as you get older, you start realizing that all of them are different, no matter what you
Yeah.
do.
Right.
And you raise them, because my three, they all got good morals, but they about as different as they come. Um,
Yeah.
I'll just say that I had four. I have a special needs son, so he's in a different spectrum. But
Right.
knowing that, I guess I'm answering a bunch of questions you didn't ask. But
No, good.
that was anyways, I'll back up. So that was right around the age of my first kind of adopted kid or take on kid. And then I
Mm.
was 21 when Elijah came, my natural born son.
Now, let me ask you this, Terry. Since you had the longest experience with, like, he's how old is Solomon now? In his 20s, right?
23. 20, he'll
23.
be 24 next month.
At any point, did he ever say, "You not my daddy"? Did he ever?
No, so Solomon didn't know until he was 18 almost. And
Oh,
so,
I think you told me that. You did tell me that.
yeah, so he, just like I mentioned it, he was so sensitive, and so,
Mhm.
like, he was so, like, like, on edge about things. I never wanted him to feel any different. And so
Yeah.
there was a couple times that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell him that, I'm gonna tell him this week. And when he turned 8, I'm gonna tell him, because 8 is a good age. Then it was like,
Mhm.
no. And then he turned 9, 10, 11. Then he kind of started getting in trouble at school
Mhm.
and doing stupid stuff. And so I'm like, if I tell him now, as he's kind of in this mode of rebellion a little bit, then whatever his punishment is, or his restriction was, it's going to then in turn be like, oh, he's only doing that because that's not my dad. So
Yeah.
we didn't change his last name until he was 10 or 11. And so every year we would go to school and say, we would say, call him by Matthews. And
Mhm.
so every year he would start off and say, why do these teachers keep calling me Bagsby? And I'm like, I don't know, because that was his one last name.
Yeah.
So, I found out afterwards that he made a few remarks and to his little friends, and he made a few remarks
Mhm.
here and there about me not being his dad, but the nigga didn't even know uh, until he was such and such age. So, he
So
kind of went on his
he was
wars.
just guessing. He was just
He was
guessing,
just
huh?
he was just no. He wasn't even guessing. This is after he found out. Then he's
Oh,
now,
after.
Oh, okay.
yeah, now he's like 19, 20, and
Mm.
kind of just being, well, my dad, I don't know. Little boys be going through stuff around that time. He's still an emotional kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Chris, does that
I
happen
try,
to you?
man, I tried to I wanted to leave a few times myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I
Yeah.
thought PJ was possessed. You think you laughing about this shit, but it was just some strange things going on in that room where I was like, I don't know. And even to this day, I won't sleep in that room.
Really?
If I had to be put out of my room and I couldn't sleep in no other room, I wouldn't sleep in that room. Not happening, bro. Like, no, it would just be strange shit that would be happening around the house. And I always told my girls that if I see something, you better be in the car.
Right.
Like when I see it, you better be in the car. I don't care if you sleep. I don't care where you at in the house.
Right.
You gonna see my tailpipes gone, and I'm never coming back. But no, but it would just be like strange sounds, bro.
Really?
Like it was one night to where his mommy even heard it and witnessed some shit. I told her to go check on her son. She was locking our door. I'm like, you ain't gonna go check on him, and she was like, hell no, nigga. That was a
Does he
hard.
have any, like, is he autistic or have any, like, anything
Nah,
else?
he just hella goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like, kids. Some kids can see things. Some people can see things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't never seen nothing but shit. I heard some shit,
Yeah.
and I was ready to go. Bro. I promise you.
Mm.
Yeah, but no. But other than that, other than like the jokes and stuff like that, his real dad did come down here,
Oh,
and
how did that go?
it was more like that Fresh Prince of Bel Air scene when his dad came and then he left.
Mm.
You can see the energy. You can see the energy because he was happy to have his dad around. And
Wow.
I'm not here to replace his daddy. I'm
Right.
not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, when he left, you can see the energy in him leave. Even like on the basketball court, him
Wow.
like rebelling and not listening to his coach
Mm.
and the coach is like literally my oldest daughter's uncle. So
Dang.
we talk.
Right. You like family.
Yeah, and he's just like, look, he he's in PJ's ear, like, bro, like that Chris is like basically the guy,
Mhm.
your dad, your real dad, because he's here every day. Like being a dad doesn't mean that what I'm saying you shoot something out from your pelvis and you're a
Right.
daddy.
Right.
Nah, man, that should take more than that.
That's facts.
And we had that sit down with him, knowing that he was feeling a certain way, and
Mm.
and so crazy is, bro, I reached out to his dad one time because PJ wasn't doing so well.
Mm.
His dad shooed me off.
What'd he say?
He was just like, "Hey, man, yeah, what you want, man? What you want?" Yeah, I hit him up. I hit him up about it. I'm like, bro, never hit him up. Bro, never hit him up, and it was just like the communication between me and him was like off, and I'm like, bro, I'm not here to take your place.
Right.
Because if you want to be here, you can be here.
Facts.
But raising somebody else's kid sometimes it's hard because like the rebellious thing that Terry said.
Mm-hmm.
Some days they probably feel like that. And as your kid's voice gets deeper, it sounds more disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you say no to a cookie and in that little voice, you're like, oh man, I can't have no cookies.
Right. Right.
Now as a grown man, it's like, damn, I can't have no cookies. Like it sounds a little different
Yeah.
when it's
Yeah.
deeper.
It sound more disrespectful.
So like I've had those
You know what?
disrespectful moments, but I don't take it to heart though.
Yeah. What you saying, Terry?
You know, Solomon's dad actually, I knew him. I knew him before I knew Tiffany. We went to high school together, and so he
Mhm.
was a black dude, skater, white boy, but he was black, but he was one skater cat, and so he'd actually seen Solomon when he was 3 times in his life. When he was first born, one more other
Mhm.
time, and then at the little graduation. And Solomon then came back home. He went to go. He took him. He came back home with Tiffany, smelling like weed smoke, and also knowing that the baby's father was kind of not in the streets, but he was just out there. He wasn't in the streets, no thug life type, nothing, because he was married. He was a square, but he smoked all the time, and he just wasn't about nothing. And so
Yeah.
once he came home one day smelling like smoke with a wet diaper, I said, and I don't even have no jurisdiction here, but I'm like, he's not coming back here. If he wants to see his son, he's got to come to your house, and he's got to come to your house
Yeah.
while I'm here, because I'm the one buying diapers. I'm the one here doing all this other good stuff. And now I'm taking care of him. My mom is babysitting while Tiffany is working. I'm like, this is my son, basically. I'm not going
Right.
to deny him. But that was literally the last time that his dad had ever reached out, said, or done anything. 3 times. And that was when Solomon was a year. And so the crazy part about it was we lived in Bakersfield. We moved to Arizona in 2006, and come to find out, I got some mail, some child support stuff in the mail saying that, let me call him his name, Sam. His name is not Sam, but some people know, but let's just say Sam. Sam also lived in Arizona. So I'm looking at
What?
Yeah, I'm looking at Tiffany like, what is going on here?
Right.
How
Right.
is he in Arizona also? And we just
Mhm.
both left Bakersfield. Now he's here, and he lived about 20 minutes away. So then I thought about it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to reach out. If he wants to reach out, I'll let him know I'm here. Some of his family members that reached out in the past, and I was like, hey, we should connect the cousins. And I'm like, I don't know, because y'all cousins ain't about shit. And I don't like it. And so, no, if anybody is anything, it's going to be Sam. Then when Solomon was about 9, the baby daddy got beat down by some Mexicans, and he died. He was in the hospital on hospice, and he was on hospice, and he was on there for a long time. And so I'm like, this is now the time. I thought about, let me take you to, as a 9-year-old, to go
Wait,
see
at
your
9 to see him
guy.
about to die?
Well, I wasn't going to explain to him who he was at the time. I was just like, before he dies, let me at least show you who this man is. Then I'll explain to you at a later date when you can understand.
Man, you would have messed him up if you did that.
Probably so. But then
You
I thought
would have
about it.
messed him up.
I thought about it and was like, nah, you know what? So his daddy wasn't around ever.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
the cool
wait.
part about it, I could never
Wait,
get
how many
mad at it.
biological kids do you have?
3.
He said 1 carry the
Right.
2.
Carry the 1.
Yeah. So wait, you have 2,
3
2,
biological
3,
children.
but then how many step kids do you have?
1.
So you have 4 altogether.
Right.
Wait, you talked about the daddy that passed away.
No, he didn't die.
The oldest one is his father. His father died.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
Well, you got
He did die?
You know what the crazy part? He got beat. He got jumped by some essays who fucked him up and
out here.
And had him out here.
Wow.
And the crazy part about it is he was in the hospital with a trach in his throat on breathing machine the same time Luke was.
Dang.
And so I know, right? And so we was like, man, it just hit crazy because we got a newborn baby who's fighting for his life on breathing machines and getting fed through a tube. At the same time, my oldest son's father, baby sperm donor, whatever, is on the same shit. Dang. And so it was so much. I'm like, you know what? It's a lot going on. We're not going to do that. So I was saying all that to say, just giving a little background. I never had any problems, but what's crazy is that because I knew Sam, Solomon is just like the nigga. It's wild. It's so wild how much they're alike.
Really?
It's crazy. Yeah. I knew him coming up. I know his whole family.
Yeah.
Some of his family is on Facebook right now. They know what I'm talking about.
See, women always talk about not wanting to date a man because he has 2 baby mothers or something like that. And they crazy. Mm-hmm. But women don't understand that we got to go through that same type of thing if we're going to date somebody with kids.
Yeah.
We don't know what background that the father comes from, or what problems he's going to have. So it works both ways when it comes to, I'm not dating a woman with hella baby daddies, vice versa for women that say I'm not dating a man with hella baby mamas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One thing we all probably have to do. I know, Chris, you're not married, but you've had relationships. What was the effect of having kids and balancing out your romantic life, your love life, and kid life? Like, how did you balance that? What are some things you had to do?
Well, let me go ahead and jump in on that first, since I am the single one out the group.
Yeah.
Um, None of these women can meet my kids,
Mm.
for the simple fact that
You always been stuck
my,
up. No, you been a diva since I met you, nigga.
man, I'm not stuck up, man. I just had this woman at the bar tell me I was stuck up, bro. Like,
You are stuck up, bro.
and then she gonna ask me for a drink. Like, hell no. She had on these
No.
blade. She had on these blade glasses, vampire glasses. I'm like, man, shut your ass up. You ain't get no drink out of me.
See, that's
Nah, but
that's it. Bitch, you ain't meet my
but
kids.
no,
What I look like?
these kids. No, I mean, ain't no woman trying. Like, first of all, as a woman, you shouldn't want me to meet your kids. You don't know how long I'm gonna be in your life.
Yeah.
Vice versa. I don't know if you come in for the night
Mm.
or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you. I don't need my kids, my girls, to see a grown ass man flipping through women.
Right. I feel
Like,
you.
that's just not a good look. Even my son, like, having a son, you would think that the way we came up and the things that we did, it would be okay for him to do it, but it ain't.
It ain't. It ain't.
Because a kid can come from those type of relationships, and then I gotta look, nigga, you already cost enough.
Right. Now I gotta pay for you and your baby.
Man, kids cost every single fucking day.
Yeah.
I'm a single full-time dad, so I don't want certain women around my kids like that. And then on top of that, let me tell you, the women, they take offense to this. Wait, you gotta sneak me in? Of course. Of course I do.
Yeah.
You gotta leave before my kids get up. Why can't I make everybody breakfast? No, I just
Yeah.
told you no. Like, if
But
you're
I think they should admire that. They should admire that you care enough about your kids to not having a random just, you
Nah,
know what I
bro.
mean?
Women want to be. They're cultivators. They want to be that person. They want to be that woman and nurture these kids. It was just them naturally. To be able to want to see, and they're like, no, they'll love me, they'll like me. You know, that's part of, like, vice versa. Niggas would be like, nah, get me out of here. I don't want to meet the niggas.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. I
know
don't
what
want
I
to
mean?
see
No,
my kids.
you don't want to meet your kids. Great. I don't want to meet them either.
Hmm.
But
right.
a woman, you bring her into your house, first thing she gonna start doing is looking at what she can fix, what she can clean up, and how she can make that house a home. It's just it's in her nature. So
Mm.
also to meet children too, then but that then is a whole nother level of something that Chris obviously was not ready for that woman to get to.
Yeah.
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 Not from the beginning.
No, not
No.
You can't, like, I had somebody say, "Oh, I'm gonna come over and fix breakfast." I'm like, nah, you can't do that. And she was like, "Well, I can meet your girls." I'm like, didn't look, no means no, lady. That's what it
right.
means. Like,
Right.
no. But I mean, it's crazy out here. But women come over here and don't want to leave.
Mm.
They see like you said, they want to come over and fix up and do stuff, Terry. It's already fixed up. There's nothing you can do. Only thing you can do is get in the kitchen. That's the only thing you can do. Everything else is done over here.
Yeah.
Tell him, Chris.
But they don't want to leave.
Get your ass in the kitchen.
Man, I'm look. I
Hey,
look.
hey,
I
Watching
you
these
grew up.
heard that? You heard
clothes.
that Charles Barkley joke? Why you don't buy a woman to watch?
What do you
Wow.
say?
Because there's a clock on the stove.
God,
Get in the kitchen.
That's
the
what Chris
clock on my
just
stove
said.
is always blinking.
See,
Hey, but why
they
that
can
clock?
fix that.
Why that clock on the stove is always blinking though? It ain't
Man,
never. It ain't
Hey,
never the right time.
it ain't ever the right time because don't nobody want to
Hell
because you ain't got
no.
no women in there, bro.
Yeah, that you might be right about that one.
Yeah. So Terry, talk to me about so married, early in the relationship. How did you guys, or how did you? I don't even want to know what she did, but how did you balance out your relationship and your love life with the kids? Were you purposeful in that, or what?
You know what, man? I st- I have somewhat of a benefit of already being engulfed in it, because like I met Tiffany with a kid, so it
Mm,
was always part of it. I didn't have to adjust to,
mm,
we sing, or we're not single, but we're dating, and then we go have fun and we doing all this stuff, right? And then, oh, now we got a kid, now we got to cut all it off. No, it was always with a kid. So
Yeah.
that was, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because now like, when I first moved to Arizona, I always wanted to go to Mill for New Year, right? Because it was kind of turned up and all that stuff. But I was 23 at the time. And so because we had kids, we could never really get out and do stuff like that. And so finally, by the time I was maybe 35, and I'm like, okay, our kids are old enough to be able to do stuff, because I've always just lived the life of being married with a kid, from going single to being with a woman with the kid and married with the kid. So now I'm 35, trying to go back to Mill, and now them niggas is still 20. And so I'm like, man,
you the old nigga.
yeah, so I guess to say that I never really had to make an adjustment, but I do sometimes feel like I may have missed out on a few things. Like I never did spring break because I had a kid right away. We had a kid right away. And then we had 2 kids, and then 3 and 4. So there was a lot of things I won't say I missed out on, which, I won't say missed out on, but there was a lot of things I missed that now that I'm a bit more mature, a bit more older, and my kids are older, that, the good part about it is that we got them going out the way. I got a lot more money now, a lot more mature, because I don't know if I would have been able to handle doing all of that at that age, at that time. So, God knows what he's doing. He's like, man, sit your ass down, get married, and here's start off with some kids.
Yeah.
Because God probably didn't say sit your ass down, but you know what I mean?
Hey, Terry, not too
You know my heart.
Hey,
Bro.
Terry,
You know my heart.
not too much on God, bro. Not too much. Hey, but you know what? That's why, like, I did everything I possibly could right after high school, right after college, during college, because I never wanted to be like, oh, I'm getting married and I didn't do this.
Yeah.
So I got the whole phase. I got that out the way. You know what I'm saying? My backsliding days is probably in the Raptors right about now, but I got it out the way. I traveled. I did some of the things I wanted to do. So when I do get married, it's the things I want to do with my partner that I haven't done before. Because you see, most people that do get married early, they get out of that marriage and they start wilding out because they ain't never got to do what they want to do. And about time they wilding out, there's an age difference of 10, 20 years, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, going to Mill, and your body ain't the same no more.
Nah, we can't.
You know
We
what I'm saying?
can't do it like that.
You ain't running down the stairs like you now. You holding the rail. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what though, getting married and being already kind of in that situation early, like Tiff and I grew up together. I didn't meet her with bad habits. Like I wasn't, had to have my toilet paper roll facing one way. We didn't have to have the toothpaste squeezed at one particular, a lot of nuances that you get when you live by yourself for a long time, and then you finally meet somebody who's like, oh, that gets on my nerves. So I mean, we're 23 years this year, or 24.
Wow.
So that was that's one of the good things about kind of getting into that situation. Even though I didn't get a chance to travel, Chris, and do a lot of the things. Did I miss it? Yeah, I did. Was I looking on, wondering what was going on in spring break? I wanted to go down to Rocky Point. You know what I mean? I wanted to do the Wild and Crazy Kids. The what was that bus that used to travel?
Girls Gone Wild.
They were showing the titties all the time. I did
you want to see them titties.
I did go to a couple of those.
Hey,
I went to a couple. Don't tell nobody.
You went to a couple.
You're in trouble now.
Right. Now you're in trouble.
Yeah, she listening.
Hey, but real life. Speaking about fatherhood, around it though, it's also cool to be a young dad. You know what I mean? And to also learn along with the kids. I'm actually a grandfather now, and going through. This nigga said, "Damn." So,
right? That's crazy.
I would be a much better father than I am right now than I was when I was 23, 24, because all I knew was what my parents did and what I thought was right. You know what I mean? And so. It's got its benefits and it's got its, who knows where it is. I always look at life. Well, how did it mold me to where I became today? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And all you can do is look and say, well, my kids are grown now, and I'm still young enough, and still somewhat good looking enough, and still somewhat in shape enough to still go and to police and still travel and do stuff. And now I got the kids out the way, not out the way, but I got the kids, growing. And I'm one of the sexiest grandfathers right now.
You hear me? You hear me?
Doggone it, granddaddy. Call me barbecue
Yeah,
granddaddy.
Papa.
Hey, it's interesting that you said
Oh, that's what she gonna call me, Papa.
interesting that you said you'd be a better dad now than you were back then. I often feel that now with my daughter. Like when she was young, it was guess and check. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to be here.
Right.
Like I want to be here. I mean, your mom not working out, but I'm not gonna give up on you. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just love you to death and spoil you to death and try my best. We'll figure it out. But I can look back now and see areas where I could have done better and things I could have done differently. Right. And I'm trying to implement that with my boys. And sometimes I do, like, it's crazy. I do these not crazy, but I do these Bible reading plans on areas that I want to get better in my life. And one of them is like parenting. And a lot of times people always talk about train up a child the way that it should go, and they will not depart when they get older, right? Or and that's good, right? They always talk about training up a child and raising a child, but more places than training up a child, the Bible talks about discipline, like a father disciplines their child. And I think discipline is a lost art in parenting, period, these days. Because I know the way
Wait,
I
what
was
type of discipline you talking about?
disciplined, like laying down the law, like really, like, how can I explain it? Like
You talk about
really,
you talk about whooping a nigga?
not. I mean, it doesn't. I think I think based on whoopings, I feel like each child is different.
Oh my
Like
bad.
like you
That's a little
said,
harsh.
Solomon,
That
Terry.
was a
You
little
said
harsh.
Solomon, you said was soft, right? Well, a little emotional. So maybe you couldn't go as hard on him as you could with Elijah, right? I'm just using that example.
Yeah, they both.
Man, go
Both sides.
man, go
I
go
think
outside and pick a
I
switch.
think the harder like the dad is, the softer like the kid
Yeah.
is in
I don't
general. I
know
don't
what
know.
happened.
But hey, I didn't mean
No,
to
no,
cut you
no.
off.
You
I'm
good.
sorry.
You good.
I love
But yeah,
y'all.
I think
They just
the discipline. I didn't have enough discipline and structure and order with my daughter because number one, me and her mom wasn't together. When the first 4 years of her life, 4.5 years of her life, I was only seeing her 2 weekends out of the month, and then all summer and all spring break, right? Then I moved home, and because me and her mom was butting heads a lot, I just wanted to be in my daughter's life. So I was always I wanted to be the fun dad that no matter what your mama might say about me or how mad your mom might be about me, you still know I'm loving you and I'm your dad. Well, that's cool, that's good. You might get spoiled and all this stuff, but I did not implement enough discipline. And I think now with my boys, I'm more structured, I'm more disciplined, and I still let them know that I love them. But I want to make sure that they understand right from wrong, being responsible. Your behavior is important, how you act, your respect, all these type of things. I want to make sure I implement that as a father, so that when they're older, they act the right way. So
I'm not gonna lie,
speak.
man. I wish
you
I
know
can
what?
go back. I wish I can go back into time because you didn't have to have a schedule to see your kids. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? Like your kids was with you and they was with you. You know what I'm saying? They were harmless. Everything was fun. Let's watch a movie.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, and I can't even get them together. Like they're all got their own stuff going on.
Oh, really? They all over the place.
Yeah, like I gotta like so right now I got them all on like my location.
Hmm.
So I go in there and take a nap. I get up, I'm here alone. I'm like, where y'all at? Messiah at McDonald's, PJ playing basketball, Phoenix is at work,
Mm,
and also they're protective over each other too. So my oldest, she says she's a stalker of my youngest.
mm.
So I'll be like, man, where's PJ at? And she'll be like, oh, he's at the park. I'm like, how you know? She's like, because I'm a stalker. So I like the fact that my kids look after one another as well.
That's good.
But once they get to that age of 13, 14, they start planning shit without you and you dropping them off, but you don't know yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
They tell
Like
you,
things,
oh, you got to take
yeah.
me here at this time.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. We going to Arizona Mills at 4 o'clock on Friday. I'm like, bro, no, you don't know what I got going on. That's
Right.
why, look, I'm just going to give my kids my car.
Here.
I don't
Y'all
even
go.
care. look, Messiah ain't even got a license, but she can have it. You know what I'm saying? She gonna be at every donut shop, bigging her back without me.
That's
But
crazy.
but my kids, man, they
Hey, I'll
all
tell
they
you,
all different. I just wish I can go back.
Yeah. What would you say, Terry? You think what?
I think, well, just to comment on that, I want to bring up another point. I think one, it doesn't matter how old you are, because once you get once you become a new parent, you're still a new parent. You still, you learn from that age. I got a buddy of mine right now who's 50 something. He has a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? And so it's like he's still making the same either ideas or not even mistakes, just kind of doing the same thing that any young parent would do, because regardless how old you are, still a young parent. One issue that I had, or I think a lot of people somewhat deal with, is when you have parents, if you got a mom and dad both in the house and you have both different ideologies on how to raise that kid or how to discipline that kid and just which ways to go. There's two things that I not necessarily struggle, but one is, let's throw that out there, right? But then there's certain things that, like, when I want to maneuver, I want to help my kid in a particular way. Yes, I'm going to pray for him, but then I'm a hands-on, like, okay, well, here's some practical things that we can do. Here's some practical ways to make this happen. And then I also, I want to be, because I'm a man's man, super logical on how that works. But then sometimes the practical way of working it out doesn't mesh with mom, right? And so sometimes, when we was having a problem with one of our kids, she would go and, well, here's a book, and here's what the book says. And I've been doing some reading and some research on how to handle the situation. And I'm like, yeah, that book. This nigga's doing wrong, and he shouldn't be doing it. So I may have been
Whoop him.
reactive, and she wanted to be proactive and saying, well, look at what so-and-so, look at what Dr. whoever wrote in this book about it. And I'll be like, them white people don't know nothing about these kids. Not mine.
Right.
I know more about them than they got. Why do I have to read a book? Now, but see, the thing is, I'm not much of a reader in general. She's a super reader, and this is just how we function in different ways. And so that was somewhat of a headbutting thing that we got into, because it was like, well, let's take some guidance into going in this new situation that we've never been into with the kid. Looking back, should I have been more open to it? Sure. Would I still have done it? I don't know. Because I'm like, well, it's simple. This is what's supposed to happen. This is how it's done. And this is the result that's supposed to happen. Her thing was, well, why is it happening? And how can we prevent it from happening? And so, as being a little more immature at that time, I didn't want to hear none of it. Because at some point, and it also, mental health wasn't as big as it was, and trying to, she was a little bit ahead of the game with me at that time. But that was definitely a struggle, because I'm like, don't touch the stove. The stove is hot. You touch it, you get popped. Don't touch the stove. The stove is hot. You touch it again, you're getting popped. So now we just got to know, don't touch the stove. Tiff was like, well, why is he touching the stove?
Yeah, I'll be like, touch it.
I don't care why he's touching the stove.
I'll be like, touch it.
Just don't touch it.
No, I'm telling my kids to touch it. Like,
well, touch it, and then it happens. But so I'm just only using that as an example. But don't be loud in class, or don't do something stupid or whatever. Whatever the stupid thing is that you're doing, don't do it because I said not to.
Right,
man.
And
touching that stove builds character.
Different. Right,
but
it can also get you arrested.
It can, but at the same time, the common sense that we have as kids are gone, and it's out the window.
But they do not have the same common sense we had. I don't know what happened.
The internet happened. That's what happened.
Well, because they're not out. They're not outside. They're not outside.
Yeah,
no,
not outside.
They don't have any troubleshooting skills. There's no troubleshooting skills in these kids.
No,
none.
And for those kids, they don't get to see the mistakes that their friends make, because they don't got friends outside.
No, they don't got friends outside.
And you see,
No.
if I see Benji do something, if I see Benji touch the stove and he over there screaming, I'm gonna think twice. Like, yeah, you know what? That
Right.
might not be the best decision.
Right. And they don't even
So,
know they don't even know why their friends might be in trouble anymore. You know
right.
what I'm saying? We knew if our friends was in trouble, we knew, oh, what you did, what you did. Oh, I heard he did this, he did that. So you learning from the mistakes of even your friends. They're not learning that.
And everybody that was grounded,
And everything that's
you,
online.
you knew people were grounded because you
Mm,
wouldn't see them. But
right,
Right.
now you can't even
Right.
ground the kids because they don't want to go outside, anyways.
right.
You ground the kids and then make them go outside.
Right.
You
Hey,
take their
for
phone and
real.
make them
When
go
our kids
outside. I
in
seen my
trouble,
kids outside. They was mad.
yeah, when our kids in trouble, go outside. Especially my 14-year-old. Go outside. I want
My,
to no.
Yeah.
Get out.
my mom will be at my window looking at me like, you know how that homeless man asks you for money and you go pay and he be at the window like that's my kids.
Yeah.
That's my kids. They trying to get back in any way possible.
Yeah. So like I have my 14-year-old, he just had a birthday. And yesterday we celebrated on Saturday.
Yeah, I seen that picture, bro.
Yeah, with little sky blue face. That's what I call him, sky blue face. Uh, yesterday was his birthday, and so I bought him a PS5 for Christmas. Right? He
Okay.
was on punishment. He was on punishment for like a month, and I bought him a PS5 for Christmas. But I was like, maybe this will motivate him to do what he's supposed to do, schoolwork wise, to get off
Mm-mm.
punishment because he loved video games. That's all he wanted to do is play video games. Still didn't do it. Still didn't do it. Right? He snuck on it, I think, maybe 2 times. The third time, I was like, "You ain't got no PS5 no more. It's mine." I don't even play
Mm-mm.
video games, but it's sitting in my room collecting dust. Brand new PS5
It's
sitting in
like
my
the
room.
both of ours.
Huh?
It's
Yes,
like the
both of
both of
ours.
ours.
It's just in my room.
You're right.
So yesterday, he was like, "If I'm good for the rest of the school year, can I get the PS5 in the summer?" I told him, I said, "You know what? I hate wasting money, so I really want you to have this PS5, but you didn't do nothing to earn it, and I told you how to earn it. All you had to do was complete these tasks daily to help you with your reading, to help you with your spelling. You refused to do it. I said, then you snuck on it multiple times, and I told you you keep sneaking on it. I'm gonna take it from you. So I can't give this back to you without you trying to do understanding that what you got to do what you're told to do, and everything I'm telling you to do is to make you better." I said, show me that you can do what we asked you to do without a whole bunch of I don't want to do that, I'm not doing this, all this frustration. Man, took the same day yesterday. This dude didn't want to go with my wife to drop off his cousin back at home. This dude had an attitude, was pushing my wife's chair in the car while she's driving, was just tripping, like straight tripping. And I didn't say nothing last night. This morning, I was like, you know how crazy it is for you to say I'm gonna be good to the end of the school year, and then the same day you act a fool, and then came home and tried to sneak my youngest son's iPad and sneak it into the bathroom to get on there. I'm like, so you did the exact thing that you don't have this stuff for, saying you won't do it again. You're gonna do it. You got in trouble on your birthday. That
Uh,
don't
this
make no sense.
this is a forget culture, bro, that we're a part of. Everything that they say, my daughter, oh, I'll clean my room if you give me some ice cream. Like, how you negotiating with me on your
Right,
room? You know
right,
what I'm saying? If I clean my room, will you give me $5? Like that's some shit you're supposed to do.
right. That's what you're supposed to do.
But they forget, bro. If I
Hey,
clean
what
my
do y'all
room,
have?
if I clean my
As
room for 5 days straight, can you can you buy me a puppy? Like, fuck no. Crazy.
What'd you say, Terry?
what do you have a zero tolerance on? Like it's I don't care. It's what's your zero tolerance? You don't you don't budge at all
Dirty
with your kids.
dirtiness and talking back.
Yeah, mine's disrespect. Just
Yeah, the
straight.
disrespect.
What's dirtiness, Chris?
What's dirtiness? Having 16
Yeah.
cups in your room stacked, you know what I'm saying? Garbage crawling up the wall, you know what I'm saying? Candy wrappers underneath your pillow to sneak
Mm,
them. Like that type of shit that don't do well with me. I do not like that. Like
yeah,
to go in a bathroom,
Gotcha.
not happening, bro.
bro. The
I
boys,
don't I don't
my
care if I
boys'
got to
bathroom. Oh
piss.
my god,
I'll pee on myself before I go to their bathroom.
facts. Same here.
I'm not doing it,
Mm.
bro. I'm not touching nothing. Like literally, I make them go in there and they clean it. I have to sit there with a chair and watch them clean. Like these kids,
Yeah.
like even with like just
Gotcha.
washing clothes, bro. Like my daughter will bring down her clothes with her panties still in her pants with
What
the socks, bro.
what's
Like,
up with this generation? Like I used to I used to want to
bro,
clean my room every week. I wanted to be fly. Just in case I have a friend over or something like that. I wanted my room to look good. I remember we used to put posters up on our walls and all that. I wanted my room.
yes.
I wasn't the neatest kid, but I still wanted a halfway decent look. These kids don't. They don't care. I don't understand what happened.
I mean, but my mom cleaned my room. When we came home from school, my room was spick and span. So it's like I knew that the room was supposed to be like this. Like you knew not to go fall up on the couch and stuff in the living room. There was the culture back then from our parents
Mm-hmm.
was, I think they were more involved. Our like my mom was home most of the day. You know what I'm saying? Now we gone. We gone for a lot of the day because work. I mean, work did take a lot of our time back then, but it ain't like now. Some
Yeah.
of us got 1 and 2 and 3 jobs. These
Mm-hmm.
kids got more freedom to lay around and be lazy more than ever these days,
Yeah.
and they don't want to go
Do you
outside. They don't. Like it ain't
do
nothing
you
else.
make your kids say do you make your kids say yes or huh? Are you good? Are you okay with huh or what?
Nah, they just get backhanded.
Yeah. I make ours. We like what you say. Yes. Or what you supposed to say. Not huh, not what. Yes.
Yeah,
So
Ma'am, any ma'am or sir, ma'am?
see, Terry, you need to come over here one day and see how I talk to these kids.
No, I got you. I mean, I'm just asking. So no, we didn't. I didn't do huh. We didn't do huh. We didn't do. I didn't say you didn't have to say ma'am, but it was definitely yes at all times. The respect factor and the I didn't even allow. I don't even allow like upset faces. Like if you like no, no, no,
mm,
no, we not. And then I remember one time my son he was like I can't show any emotion, and I'm like no, you better fix it or figure it out. Especially you better hide that shit
you
because I'm not
told
trying. I don't want to
no.
hear you upset about something that you're doing wrong, and you get mad. No,
So he supposed to
no,
just have a
stop.
blank face,
Yeah,
bro, bro,
not no. I don't.
bro. When you leave, when Debo leave,
A
I'll be
blank
talking
face.
again.
Oh
Look,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you either blank face or you happy. Outside of that, you know what I mean? If you I mean, I can understand or you sad because you was wrong. And now we can't stop that. This is it.
Mhm,
But the adult face is no go.
mhm.
The the adult face on saying, well, why didn't you do this? Or you caught somebody in the lie, then oh no, nigga, you get socked through your
Hey,
chest
bro,
or
you
slapped to
should
the
have put a
ground.
camera in their
This
room.
episode of Family.
Whoa,
What the heck was
but them
that?
So
kids, they
not out- they they
they're not
they're
outside.
not outside.
Yeah.
No, nigga, you get socked through your
Bluetooth disconnected.
is a ghost. Hey, there's some people in that room, Chris.
PJ room.
And everybody going too.
No, I
I'm
think
like,
that's me. I think that's me. I think.
nah. Look, so look. Have you ever been on the phone with somebody and they cool with you, and I wish for me, I wish I can hear the next 5 minutes after you get off that phone because
Mhm.
you really know how people feel about you or how they think and what they saying about you. You should have installed a damn camera in your room after the blank face and no emotions. Boy, I bet boy you was getting cursed out
Oh
all
yeah, he
types
was
of
cut
ways
all
as soon
type
as
of
you
names.
left.
He was calling you.
Hey, I'm fine. That's okay.
Mhm.
I used to do that to I used to go and take my
Pillow, me
pillow
too.
and yell and
Yep,
cuss out my
same
mother
thing.
in my pillow. Like, you fucking bitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rah.
Then she bust
Not,
in and be
I
like,
wasn't that loud to where
you
she could
must want
hear.
another whooping. Like soon as you hear that shit.
Yo, look, I would be talking to my mom. You see, my hands are here,
Mhm.
right? And so my hand would be on the other side of the door, like flipping her off as I'm like looking on the other side. You know what I mean? Like I'm on the side and I'm like, doing all this, but I'm like, really my hand. So right here, I'm talking to you just like we're talking, but my hand is doing this. I'm like, this is what it's doing. But I'm sitting here, yes, yes, yes. And then what you doing with your hand? Nothing. I'm
That's
doing
crazy,
nothing.
bro.
So, it was just like we at all points in life, from the time that you come out of your belly, you respect, you honor, you obey. Obviously you're not going to obey all the time, but what we're not going to do is even attempt
Mm.
to fix your motherfucking face, to have an attitude
Yeah.
or a disappoint. Don't even be disappointed. And so, no,
So wait,
no, you can
so
be
your kid,
disappointed inside.
Terry, so can they cry?
No, they can cry because sometimes I need them to cry, like that, because I need you to understand, like, okay, again, if I'm not talking hard enough, or whatever, that means it ain't working. But I just the adult face is what I'm saying here, because you're not an adult.
Right.
Ain't no ain't no attitude. None of that part
Mhm.
is not happening. And then you can do all of it outside of the house.
Oh, yeah.
Once you move out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
make all the faces you want.
Yeah.
When you paying rent somewhere else,
Yeah,
Mhm.
but then
you don't like it, go.
but them faces that they making and all that shit they doing behind the door is gonna get their ass kicked in the real world.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
So I'm not. They will say maybe they learn coming up not to make them faces with daddy.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but the thing
So
is,
if
like
they
you
go,
saying that, like you should be like, well, this is why you shouldn't make those faces, because now you getting your ass kicked. This is the real reason why. Like, I want you to
Yeah.
lash out because I'm gonna kick your ass, and you
Mm.
don't want to do that in the real world.
wait a minute. Okay, are you having so are you saying you're now having like conversations back and forth with, and y'all going, and are you having conversations back and forth with your kid on why and how and this and that and this and that?
Well, there's no disrespect in this house. So I don't like when
Yeah.
we talk for understanding.
Mm.
And the thing is, I'm not sugarcoating shit.
Yeah.
Like the way I talk is the way I
Right.
talk. I'm not going, oh yeah, you my baby, and I don't want you to get hurt. No, go out there and fucking play in the street and see what happened. Nigga,
Mm.
you gonna be a memory. Like I'm talking to my kids like that, bro. Like I don't want, just like you said,
Okay.
you said
Question.
this earlier. You said, um, I want you to know what it is coming from your daddy. I
Mm.
want you to know what it is coming from your elder. It's not, I don't want you to learn in the streets and nothing like that. I don't
Mm.
want you going to school smelling and crazy. You want to hear this shit from me first.
Right.
That way, when you get out there and you hear it, you like, man, my daddy talk way crazier. Like that
Yeah.
shit don't phase me. And I know what not to do.
Mhm.
So I'm instilling the common sense into my kids. That's what's
Yeah.
most important to me.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to do in life, that's cool. Just have the common sense factor. The IQ stuff is more important,
Absolutely.
knowing your surroundings, than just getting on the internet and getting good grades to me.
Yep. I told my son that this morning. I said, more than you getting A's and B's, more than you being, good in math, science, history, and all that, I want you to understand how to think. The worst thing about it is an educated person that does not know how to think. And if you don't learn how to think, you ain't good for too much in this world. You gotta learn how to think outside the box. You know what I mean? And is this going to be a good decision? Is this the right decision for me? Am I going to prosper from this decision? Is this the best decision for me to make right now? If you can't think like that, then life is gonna eat you up.
Like I told my baby, I was like, everything you learning at school, you ain't most of the stuff you ain't never gonna use in your life.
Yep.
The things that they're teaching you is just to see if you can multitask.
Mm.
That's all school is about. Because think about it. When you get to college, that's when you get to your focus.
Mm-hmm.
You take all them bullshit classes just to see if you if you can maneuver.
Yeah.
Because most of the time in life, we switch careers every 5 to 6 years.
Mm.
That's all it is about. Just paying attention, doing a task, and getting the grades you need to go further, to go to the next step.
Yeah.
Every life is just a test, no matter what.
Yeah. And can you pass the test is the question. Are you prepared? Are you equipped to pass the test?
Yeah, see, now that's a different that's a different subject, because
Yeah.
education is the only thing that we have that's never evolved.
Never evolve. And that's horrible. Yeah, we
Right.
gotta talk about the educational system, but we ain't
We
gonna do
could
that
yeah,
today.
yeah, we can do that next week. We
We
can
can do
talk
that
about
next week.
education next week.
So we got to talk about why they don't teach credit in school. According to your boy.
I know that's my cousin, man. Like he's still learning about credit. And he 50. You know what I'm saying?
Do
So
any of you? This gonna probably we're gonna wrap up after this. But either one of you have one of your kids who have maybe some severe? Well, Terry, I know your son. Now, what is his condition? I was gonna say, does anybody have a severe autistic kid or severe mental health kid with challenges? with mental health. But what is Luke's? What is his diagnosis?
So Luke doesn't necessarily have a diagnosis. Tiffany's water broke very early. You know, her body, you know, didn't. He was born very early, and so in the process of her water breaking at 24 weeks, and then having him at 29 weeks, you know, he lost a lot of function in his lungs, and because the water broke at 24 weeks, at 29 weeks he came out with a lot of with not good lung function, which not a lot of oxygen was able to get to his brain, which caused some damages in his brain. So it wasn't necessarily born with a condition, or at least a stereotypical or written down condition. It's just kind of brain damage from the lack of oxygen. And so, yeah, he didn't come home till he was 17 months. He stayed in the hospital for
I remember that.
ever.
I
Then when
remember
he
you
came
saying.
home,
I remember you
he
telling me
had
when he
a,
came
he
home.
had a he had a trach, he had a G tube, and he couldn't really move or do anything. And so, you know, he eventually, once he got about 4 or 5, came out of the G tube. Out of the trach, he still eats through, you know, through like formula through his stomach. And so, you know, it's not even, when I say it like he's a non-traditional kid, it's not even close to that. There's not a thing. You know, he still has picture day. You know what I mean? He still has his moods. He still acts up. But you know, to compare it to any like other kid, it's a little bit different. It's a lot different because he's not having. But you know, he still has his mood swings. He doesn't communicate by words. He makes noises. You can tell when he's a little upset about some stuff here or there, and so it's a completely different stage of more of a provider, like a healthcare provider for Luke versus being dad for Luke. Because I'm not necessarily giving him advice on girls, you know what I mean, or talking about homework and making sure he's doing any of that type of stuff. So that I'll tell you what, it does develop you though as a human, being able to deal with and handle with enough patience to have a special needs kid, because you can't just leave, you can't clock out, you can't just go home. You know what I mean? When he was smearing his bowels on the wall or being extra, you can't just pop him on the leg and tell him to stop.
Right.
There's no, you know, nothing is traditional with raising a severely special needs kid. And so, and so I have another son who's not necessarily special needs, but he's, you know, they're all so different. It's all, I had a gamut of different kids, all of them. And so, but having a special needs son, is now he's 13, you know, it definitely builds patience, builds character. You know, it was, I'll be honest with you, as a dad, you still almost want that, like, you know, kind of rough and tough with your son. And I still kind of throw him up and down and mess with him a little bit. But we don't, it's just, did Chris leave? It's just, it's a bit different. It's a lot bit different, you know, dealing with or being able to manage almost is kind of what you got to do with his type of condition. You follow me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
so
my other, I have a son who's got like a lot of ADHD, and
that's Elijah.
Now dealing with him, I think I was trying to say his
my
name,
bad, my bad.
Put that boy out on the street.
And so now something that can be a little bit more traditional, more familiar to people. I had to learn about ADHD, and I didn't pay no attention to learning about people with the condition until he got a bit older. Which if that was a thing that I could change, I would have learned about that when he was 3 or 4, 5 or 6, when we started noticing things. And so that's one regret I have, because I got a big personality. I talk fast and I move fast and I think like this here. You know what I mean? He doesn't function like that. He can't. And neither does his mother. His mother's somewhat the same. They just function on a different phase. And there was one time I just made him talk to me. I asked him a question, and I'm like, Elijah, what time did you get home from school, or whatever it was, homework? And then he was like, he's trying to put it together in his mind as I'm just going off the rails of talk soup, a talk salad. And then I just like made him say something. Elijah, say something, boy. I'm kind of waiting. And this dude spit out random words that made no sense. Bro, I felt like that big. Because I'm like, inside, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just do to my son?
Wow.
He like, what? Literally, it was. I can't even fake it. Nothing made sense because that's the words that was in his brain. That's how he just pushed it out. He needed time to gather his thoughts, put them together, and then answer me in his own time and in his own right and his own way that he does it. And it was at that moment where I dove into learning about how to deal with people with ADHD and how they function. And I tell you what, it actually helped me with his mother too, in addition. And so, because in my mind, I'm thinking 1 + 1 is 2. Logic.
Right.
This obviously makes sense the way that it's done because this is how it's done. But it's just, I tell you what, being dad and being husband and being an alpha male, it changes. It softens you up. It also gives you opportunity to be able to deal with the outside world because I can't get away from it. Even today, as he's 21, he still functions like he was when he was 10, but I still have to deliver that message to him at that time. And the same thing, the same way, not saying that it's any different or any worse. It's just different. And learning the phrase "it's just different" took me a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why it's good
And
for us
so,
to grow up before we have these kids.
right.
Like our motor skills have to
Right.
be complete before we go out here and make these babies.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you what, if you ain't developed and you don't know how to deal with a certain issue, how are you gonna teach your kid to deal with that issue?
Right.
Like it's like y'all learning together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said I wanted to do everything I possibly could before I had kids. Tell you the truth, I didn't even want kids.
Mm.
Do I think that they changed me? Yes. I'm a totally different person because of my kids because I had to learn along the way. And for men, it's like, we're not taught to be adults from a young age like women.
Mm-hmm.
Women, they start out young with babies, washing dishes, easy bake ovens and kitchens and playing house. We didn't want to play house. We playing house because we like the girls. You know what I'm saying? We simple. We so simple. It's just like
Simple.
that's why having like a good woman, even if that you and that woman don't make it, as long as she's a good mom, you know what I'm saying? Long as y'all can share that kid together and y'all both can talk about decisions that's going to be good for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's most important. Would I have another kid right now? Yeah, I would. I would start all over today if I could. But the situation, like the dynamic, the environment, everything got to be
You
perfect.
would have a baby right now?
Yeah,
That's
but
crazy.
why not? That's what we're here to do, to reproduce.
Hey, I was thinking about that too.
Mace,
I was thinking about that too. Would I
yeah,
actually
I've
want a
reproduced enough.
baby
Yeah,
at
like
4?
look, let me tell you something. If my kids are gone and if I'm not on this podcast, I'm looking for something to do. I'm bored. Like, why do you think I'll be on like TikTok making videos and stuff? If my kids ain't around, I have nothing to do. Like, I'm losing my mind. So I'm not saying that I want another kid so I can have something to do. It's just life, man.
That's what it sounds like,
It's
bro.
just life. Like,
I'm bored. Let me have a baby. You know, Trump giving
right.
out
You know,
5,000.
Oh boy, let me get out of the baby. Which one
nah.
of these bitches I'm not gonna let in my house?
Hey, I'm trying to decide where I'm gonna
Did
leave it
you come
in.
in and give me a baby?
I'm just
You get
deciding.
pregnant.
I'm trying to
So I have
decide who I'm
something
gonna
to
leave
do.
it in with. Where I'm gonna,
We go.
who I'm gonna leave it in with. That's
Leave
the
it in.
decision. Nah, but no, kids, bro. Like it builds character in you too, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's not the other way around. Like they teach. Man, my kids teach me shit every day.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
But you
But
know
at
what?
the same,
My kids teach me stuff about me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like my patience, man. Because my 14-year-old ADHD too, and oh my goodness, like you said, like you want him. Like now, I send him away. We send him away. Like get your words together, and come back when you got your words together. Because he'll be like, uh, and just look at you with a stupid face, like,
That's how I know when my kid lying. That's how I know when
nah,
they
he got
lying.
ADHD. He don't be lying. He just can't get his words together,
Look,
No,
and
when
he
my
can't get his
kid,
thoughts
they
together.
can't even lie. They don't know how to lie.
No,
They
look,
just don't know. They just trying to figure out, trying to lie. Now I gotta make extra words. Hell no.
look, I always know when my kid is lying. His voice get high. You know what I'm saying? Like you be like, "Hey, where you been?" Be like, "Yeah," and then he starts stuttering. Like he ain't got ADHD, but you can always tell when something going on.
right.
But like my youngest Messiah, she was born a month and a half early.
Mm.
So Messiah's been through like 26 to 30 surgeries, bro.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. Messiah, they like the doctors told us basically Messiah wasn't supposed to make it past 4. So
Dang.
remember, she started running track because she
Mhm.
had a hole in her lung. So they had to go in and like put a bag like to keep her lung from, to keep her breathing. Her running track kind of helped her out. Then plus her mom had a surgery to help her out as well. So Messiah had a temperature of like 106. They said, that can damage her brain, her functions, and stuff like that. And now to this day, I'm like thinking like, yeah, there's those moments because she still takes like she's in like the IE classes where like she takes a little bit longer to get it.
Mhm.
And then I think about it, I'm like, Messiah's not dumb, bro.
Yeah.
It's she just don't want to learn about the shit that she's being taught. These kids don't
How old
care
is
about
she?
that shit. She's 13, about to be 14 this year.
Yeah,
She
sound like
don't
my
she don't
my
give a
14
fuck.
year old. Yep.
She don't
Just don't
care.
care.
Now, if you go in there and tell her to play Fortnite, she killing everybody.
Killing it. Killing it. Without
Now,
thinking.
do I think that's a form of ADHD and stuff like that? Yeah, yeah, it's something in there, but it's something that draws her to want to do it.
Mhm.
So that's why now I got her in coding classes.
Mm.
Why? Because that's something if you want to make a video game or something like that, this is something you want to do. I want to put you in front of everything that you love.
Yeah.
Now, you want to learn about Christopher Columbus? No. Like, you don't want to learn about that shit. Like, that shit has nothing to do. They don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't care anymore.
Yeah, man. It's,
Yeah, that's why we gotta have that educational one. We gotta talk about schools and what these kids is
yeah.
learning because it's time they need to revamp the whole educational system in this country. It's crazy. Uh, but yeah, man, it sounds like we might need to do a part 2 of fatherhood because I didn't even get to half of the stuff I wanted to talk about. But we out of time, but we had a dope show tonight. Thank you, Terry, for coming on. Hey,
Yeah.
Dennis gonna be MIA for a minute, so whenever you ready on Tuesdays,
You know
you
what,
know.
man? I was just so busy, but I'm typically available on Tuesday. So yeah, hit me up. I gotta get it.
Yeah.
Hey,
A quick question for y'all, man. A quick question. We all
Yeah.
about the same age. I think I'm older than y'all, maybe by about a year, 2 years or so.
Now Chris the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
Well, first, are you sponsored by Beijing or what, nigga? How come you ain't got no grades?
Ooh.
He said, "Why?"
I do got
You
grades, bro.
what, nigga?
I do. They here.
Hey,
See
I don't
that
They,
have
one
they
girl
on here.
there?
no
Hey,
grades. I don't have
that's
nothing
called
in my
stress.
locks. No
That's called
grades.
stress, brother. That's called
I'm on here
stress.
talking about
Hey,
grandpa, and you older than me?
wait. How
Oh,
old are you,
good.
bro?
43.
How old are you? I'm 44.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Am
I'm
I, bro?
44.
I was like this 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I just started getting a grade or two, maybe this year.
You know what? That's because you don't be taking no mess from them hoes. You don't let see your kids. I told you when you stuck
Yeah,
up like
yeah.
that, you don't have no stress.
Hey, you stupid. Hey,
Yo,
hey, is
it's
Dennis
all
getting
good,
that?
man. Look, I appreciate it, bro. You've been the homie since day one. But I was, you just
Yeah.
always like, man, that dude got swag. You know what I mean? Most niggas with swag is a bit stuck up, but it's all good.
Hey, man. I just try to. I just try to stay out the way.
Yeah.
See,
I
That's the
just
way.
try to
that
stay
was
out the
a
way.
perfect line.
Stay out the way, baby.
Hey, I'm just trying to stay out the way with your cardigan on.
Straight up, straight up.
Hey, is Dennis getting that DDL?
The DDL? Nah, he got him a new job. He got a new job.
Okay. I thought I got that DDL was gonna have him out.
The DDL, he might need it. He blue chewing it up or something. No, he just got a new job and have him work late. So yeah.
All right. No, it was
So,
good
hey,
to
y'all
have
catch
you on,
us
Terry.
next week. Oh, you know what? Next week, 7 p.m. We're here, same place, same spot. Hope we'll see if we get Cliff back on next week. He was at work late tonight too. So hey, appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Mental Podcast. Follow us on all social media platforms. Y'all have a good night. God bless y'all. Peace.